God is just reminding me how important it is to wait for the promise, and how not waiting for the promise can affect the promise and it can delay it, or it can ruin it. And God gave me this word, He gave me this analogy to use this morning, and man, this spoke to me. And it really spoke to my soul, because I was in such a similar season, and I feel like I can help other people and encourage other people with this analogy. And if it spoke to me, it can speak to somebody else. So I'm going to talk about it. God gave me the analogy of waiting on your favorite dish to be cooked, right? Your parent, your mom or your dad told you that they're making you lasagna. They know that you love lasagna. You asked for lasagna your entire life. Like, that's your favorite dish. And they're saying, I'm making lasagna tonight for dinner, right? I'm going to make lasagna for you. And I'm preparing it. It'll be done, and I'll let you know. And you're like, man, lasagna. I love lasagna. Like, I cannot wait. So you're sitting there waiting, and 10 minutes go by, and you come back to your, let's just say, your mom, and you're like, do you know how long it's gonna be? Like, I just want to know, because I'm actually really hungry and I can't wait to eat it. And your question, like, how long is it gonna be? And your mom is like, I'm not sure. I have to, it's a process. Lasagna isn't an easy dish, you know. It requires, I gotta make the noodles, I gotta make the meat, I gotta get the sauce, I gotta get all the seasonings, I have to, what I'm saying, I have to layer it out, I gotta get the cheeses, I have to make it a certain way. It's not gonna be ready in 1 second, so I have to prepare it. And you're like, okay, all right, I'm just, I'm questioning because I'm just very hungry. And she's like, I'll let you know when it's ready. I'll let you know. Don't worry, I'm making it for you. Like, I'm still making it. Don't worry. I'll let you know. And 10 more minutes go by, and you're noticing that the closer it gets to the food being made, you're getting hungrier. Like, your stomach is growling, right? You're so hungry for this lasagna that you feel like you cannot wait. 10 more minutes go by, and you see that she placed it in the oven. So you're like, okay, she is halfway there, right? It just has to cook. It has to, heat up or whatever. Okay, I can wait, right? 5 more minutes go by, and you're like, okay, let me just see if it's done. And you open up the oven, and every time you open up the oven, you're noticing that more time is being added, because you keep letting the heat out. You keep opening up the oven to see if it's done. You keep watching it, waiting for it to be done. Um, and then you close up the oven, and you're realizing, dang, it's taking even longer, right? And it's because you keep opening up the oven. You're letting the heat out. It's gonna take longer process if you keep letting the heat out. So you're like, okay, okay, and you wait 5 more minutes. You say, you know what? I'm literally so hungry. I can't take this no more. So you take the lasagna out the oven, and you cut yourself a piece, and you eat the lasagna. As soon as you eat the lasagna, you spit it out. You wanna know why? The noodles are hard. The sauce is cold. The lasagna is disgusting. It's not done, right? And you're like, ew, like, this is nasty. Like, this is not done. It's cold. It's not even warm yet. And you spit it out. And your mom comes down, and she's like, did you take a piece? And you're like, yeah, I was hungry. I didn't want to wait. And she's like, I told you, you have to wait for it to be done. It's not going to cook in 1 second. You got to wait. And she's like, why would you take a piece? Like, of course it's going to be nasty. It's not done. And God just keeps reminding me of, this is exact. If you haven't caught on yet, the analogy of the lasagna is God and his promise. The lasagna being the promise, the mother or the father being God. And he's just reminding me of, when he's telling you a specific promise, when he's telling you that he's making you lasagna, let's just say that, when he's telling you he's making your favorite dish, it's because he knows you. He knows your heart. He knows your heart wants lasagna. Okay? He knows that. So he's saying, you know what? He loves you so much, he's going to make you lasagna. Just like a parent knows their child, should know their child. They love lasagna, right? I'm going to make them lasagna, right? That's the same way that God is promising us things. He knows what our heart wants. He knows that you want a healthy relationship. He knows that you want that job promotion. He knows that you want to get better in your ministry. He knows that you want a certain amount of kids. He knows what your heart wants, right? He knows you. That's your father. He knows you. And he just keeps reminding me of that analogy, because so many of us do not want to wait on our favorite meal, which is the promise. So many of us get so caught up in the timing and how long it's going to take, that we become so impatient. And he showed me that analogy And he's explaining how it's so many ways that we can mess up the promise. For example, opening up the oven. That is us keep trying to figure out when the timing is going to be, trying to speed up the process. We might turn up the heat, right? We might turn up the heat on the oven, make it go faster. We might burn the promise, right? We might burn the lasagna trying to turn up the heat because we want it so badly. We're affecting the process because we want it so badly. We're delaying it and we're affecting the process. So, um, yeah, he's just explaining that the parent knowing their child, knowing their favorite dish, is God knowing us. He knows our heart. He knows, let's say for example, you want a healthy marriage, right? You want a healthy marriage, and God is saying, I'm going to give you a healthy marriage. And you're like, okay, God, when is it going to happen? And God is like, I don't know a specific time. He's not saying that, but he's telling you, like, I'm not telling you the specific time. Just know it's happening. I'm not lying to you. You can see it through confirmation, through the signs I'm giving you, through the words. You see the confirmation, right? Same with the parent. You know that she's making lasagna. You know that your mom's making lasagna because you can see that she's telling you. She's not lying to you. You can see she got all the products out. She's preparing it. So that's the same thing with God. We see what He's preparing. We see it. We just don't want to wait on it, right? Sometimes we lose faith. Sometimes we don't see that far ahead. We don't see that He's actually preparing that. We just see the small things that He shows us. So again, let's say we want a healthy marriage, and we're like, well, do you know when it's coming, God? Like, can you tell me a specific time? We're so focused on the time. We're so focused on opening the oven, turning up the oven, trying to speed up the process that we're ruining it, right? And you ever been so hungry that the closer you get to the lasagna being done, the closer you get to your favorite dish being done, it seems like you're way hungrier. Like the closer you get to it being done, you're the hungriest you've ever been. When it's 5 minutes until the food is done, you are the hungriest you ever been. So you know what you might do? You might go into the pantry and you might get yourself a snack. And you ever notice that? Because I know a lot of people have done this. They do not want to wait on the food. They're so hungry that they go ahead and get a snack and they start eating chips. They start eating, chocolate, snacks, whatever. And when the food finally is ready, they're not even as hungry, right? It's not as good as they expected. It's not as nourishing as they wanted it to be because they ate something else. And that represents when you're waiting on this marriage, when you're waiting on this healthy marriage, right? We might get so caught up in waiting that we become impatient. And this causes us to say, okay, God, I hear you. You're saying you're bringing this person into my life. You're saying you're doing this for me, but I don't see it. So I see a couple people that are coming my way. I'm just going to try them out, right? And you allow this person to come into your life. It's a person that comes into your life that shows interest in you, and you try them out, right? And God tells you what's in the promise. And what's in the promise is a person that is a family person. He is a Christian. He reads his Bible. He is led by God. He wants to have children. He is a caring person. And he goes to school. And this person that comes into your life, he has a degree in business, right? He goes to college. Um, he's a family person. He takes care of his mother. Literally loves her to death. Takes care of his mother. He wants children. He talks about children. But he's an atheist. Okay? He doesn't believe in God. Never believed in God, doesn't care to, never read the Bible once in his life. And you're like, like all these other things, but he's an atheist? Like, God, why would you bring this person? You said that he was a Christian. You said that he reads his Bible, that he's in a ministry. Why would you bring this person? This isn't the person. And God is saying that's not the person. I never said that was the person. I told you exactly what the person is like. And that's a big factor that they're missing. You know what I'm saying? So us becoming so caught up in being so hungry for this promise, we look elsewhere and we're like, okay, I'm about to just eat whatever. And we eat whatever and we're like, this is not satisfying me. And God said, yeah, it's not satisfying you because it's not the right thing to eat. I'm telling you, I know you're hurt. I know that your favorite food is lasagna and you're trying to eat chips. Of course it's not going to be satisfying. And God just put that in my heart, and it really spoke to me because I'm like, wow, we get so impatient not knowing that God knows our heart. He is literally our Father. He knew us before we were born. He knows what we want. You think that He's lying to us? He's going to tell us His promise and it's not coming? And you know what? How we can also ruin it is we can choose something else so that when that promise actually comes, we don't even want it. We're so caught up in these other people and these other things that we chose. It's like, I don't even want that. I have so much going on. I don't even have time for the promise. And we ruin it and we push it away. And God is just reminding me that he knows what you want, not what you just desire, what can fulfill you temporarily. No, he knows what is eternal, what is for you, what actually nourish you, what your heart wants. And I don't know, that analogy just really spoke to me. Just it really spoke to me because it's so true. With a lot of people on their walk with God, we become so impatient that we can't even see that far down the road that we just choose anything. We choose anything. And he's reminding me that because the promise is, there's a reason why the promise is taking so long, right? There's a reason why it's taking so long. And if he gave you that promise right now, again, if he gave you the lasagna when it's not done, you know what happened? Just what happened when you eat it. It's nasty. It's not done. It's cold, right? So if he's preparing this husband or wife for you, and he just brings them into your life when they're not ready, that person deals with anger issues. That person deals with blaming all of their exes for their trauma. If God would allow that person to come into your life at the moment, at the state of mind that they're at right now, they would hurt you. So God is protecting you and God is protecting this person, because imagine God brings this into your life and you hurt that person. Meaning that God has to heal certain things in you for the promise to come. You have to be aligned to it, right? You have to be aligned to it. You're not hungry enough. If you're not hungry, God's not giving you this promise. Of course he's not giving you the promise. If you just ate something else, if you keep eating chips on the side and keep doing this, of course he's not going to give you the promise. He's going to say, oh, you already ate. You know what I'm saying? There would be no reason for me to give you this. You already ate. And that's something that, again, keeps speaking to me of like, if you would just wait for the promise, you understand you're being fulfilled because you actually want that lasagna, and it's not just something mediocre that's just going to temporarily fill you, and then your stomach starts to hurt, or it's just not something that really gives you nourishment. No, he's going to give you something that speaks to your soul, that actually feeds into you. So he's preparing it. If he doesn't prepare it, it will not be done. There's layers, just like lasagna. There's certain layers he has to prepare. It's not an easy meal. This is not an easy promise. He has to prepare your husband or wife to come. He has to prepare that job opportunity to come. He has to prepare and align the things. He has to have certain things lined up. And it seems like every time that we get closer to the promise, it seems like it's running from us. It seems like it's moving 5 steps away. And he's just telling me that's not what's happening. What's happening is the closer you get to the promise, which represents, the closer you get to the lasagna being done, right? The closer you get to the lasagna being done, you get so hungry. You feel like you cannot take it anymore. You're on your last leg. That's what happens when the promise is close. When the promise gets closer, you are so hungry for it that you're like, God, is it even coming? You get so impatient. You're like, you get this rush. It feels like hardship, and that's because the closer you get to the promise, let's say your promise is at level 7. If you're at level 10, if you're at level 7 and then you upgrade to level 8, the hardships are going to be much harder. There's going to be way more things in this level, right? In level 6, you just dealt with mediocre things, and you dealt with, what I'm saying, like, hard things, but they weren't too hard. Now you're at level 7 and it's getting a little rough. Then you're at level 8 and it feels like everything in you is stripping from you. It feels like you can't take it anymore. Level 9, you are fighting for your life. And level 10, the promise comes. That's what happens when it's coming closer. You go through way more hardships. And a lot of us think, again, that when we're dealing with more hardships, then that means that the promise is just running from us. No, that means we're getting closer to it. But you have to wait for it. And it's great that you're in this hungry season, that you're getting hungrier and hungrier, because that proves that it's close. But you have to continue to allow that lasagna to cook. You have to continue to allow God to prepare it. Because if you don't allow him to prepare it how he wants to prepare it, you're going to be eating cold food. You're going to be dealing with somebody that is cold-hearted, that doesn't care about your heart because they didn't heal their heart. If God didn't heal their heart posture, how can they come in for you and be a healthy partner for you? How? If God didn't heal their heart from blaming all their exes that cheated on them and did them wrong, and every person that they meet now, they don't want to trust them, and they have this hatred towards all women or hatred towards all men. How do you expect them to love on you if they have that mindset? If their heart is not right, God has to heal that. God has to prepare their heart for you and prepare your heart for them. Because if you're impatient, when you get in the relationship, there's certain things that this partner is going to do for you that you're going to be so impatient, you're not going to wait for it. God has to prepare that impatientness in you. He has to get rid of that. So that when you're in this season of waiting, understand if it's not here yet, it's because it's not ready. Just like the lasagna. It's not ready yet. If it's not done, it's because it's not done yet. The time did not come for it to be prepared for you. And when it's done, just like God will prepare for you, your parent will prepare for you. They might even set it up nicely on the plate, make it look nice, you know what I'm saying? Put a little Parmesan on top. Like, they might prepare it so nice for you. And he just keeps reminding me, the more you keep trying to delay it, or the more you try to add things in, you try to eat chips in the midst of waiting, you're not going to be as hungry for it. You're not going to be as hungry for it. And that's just something that really spoke to me. And I feel like I need to talk about that, because a lot of us are in that season or went through that season of having trouble waiting because we can't see that it's actually going to be done yet. We see that God is doing it, but we question, like, how long is it going to take? It seems like it's been forever. This lasagna been in the oven for 30 minutes. It's taking forever. Not understanding it's taking longer because you keep trying to open the oven. You keep trying to speed up the process. You keep trying to force yourself to heal. You keep trying to force yourself to get in alignment with it. No, you have to allow yourself to get in alignment with it. Don't force yourself. Don't force that person to be the person they're supposed to be for you. Don't force certain things. You have to surrender. And if you realize the more that you actually just spend time doing whatever in that waiting period, the time seems like it's speeding up. Like, if you watch a movie in the midst of waiting, that lasagna will cook faster. I'm telling you, it will seem like it's cooking faster, and it will be done in no time. But when you focus on the lasagna, when you focus on the promise, it keeps saying, this promise, this promise, this promise, this promise. You're not living. You're not focusing on the present moment. Your mom said the lasagna will be cooked, meaning it's not cooked right now, which means that's in the future. God said this promise is coming, which means it's in the future. Stop focusing so much on the promise. He's telling you so that you don't go looking other places. Because a lot of us question, like, why would you even tell me the promise if you're not going to give it to me? And a lot of us question, that is a big question I always have for God, is why would you tell me that this is what you want from me if you're not going to bring it to me right now? And he's doing that so that you don't go looking elsewhere. Because if your mom didn't tell you, hey, I'm making lasagna for dinner, you know what you would do? You would eat something else that's not your favorite dish. You would go looking elsewhere, like, all right, I'm gonna just eat this. I'm hungry. There's nothing prepared for me. God has to tell you something's prepared for you so that you wait. Because if he don't tell you this is coming for you, you know what you're gonna align to? Something else. You're not gonna align to a healthy husband or a healthy wife. You're not gonna align to that. You're not gonna align to this job opportunity. You're going to look elsewhere. But because God is saying this to you, he wants you to align to it. He just wants you to be patient. Okay? It's coming. I don't know who need to hear that, but it's coming. You have to be patient. And in the waiting period, you don't have to wait, meaning you physically sit there in front of the oven waiting for it to be done. No. Because the time's going to seem slower when you do that. Go focus on you. Focus on things. Focus on healing. Focus on, the problems that you have. And when you do that, the promise will just come. It comes when you align to it. So go watch a movie. You're waiting on that food to be made. Go watch a movie. Go for a walk. Go for a drive. Go do something. And then when you come back, the food will be ready for you. I don't know who needed that, but I needed that today. That spoke to me. And what's crazy is I prayed to God, like, God, I don't know what words to speak today. I don't have nothing. I'm having this creator's block. I don't know. Like, I don't really have a set word today. I had some topics, but I didn't want to plan a topic. I wanted it to come to me, and God had it come to me like 5 minutes before I got my hair done. I dressed ready. I'm like, all right, I got the word ready, and that's what He's speaking to me. Is just wait on the food to be ready. Wait on the promise. It's coming. He didn't lie to you. He told you it for a reason. He gave you major confirmation for a reason. He's not lying to you. The food will be prepared in due time when God is ready for it to be prepared. So look at it that way. Look at it as if it's not ready, it's not going to come to you. And if it comes to you not ready, expect it to not be ready, expect it to be cold, expect it to be bitter, expect it to not be warm and cooked how it's supposed to be. Expect for those noodles to be hard. Expect for that person's heart posture to be cold, for them to yell at you because they didn't heal their anger management. They didn't heal none of that. So now when they come to you, they're yelling at you and they're blaming you for the hurt they go through. They're blaming you for every woman that ever came before you. God has to heal that. They can't come to you and hurt you like that. God don't want you to eat food that isn't ready because it's nasty. God don't want to bring nobody that's not ready for you because they're nasty. They're nasty. They have a nasty mentality. They have a nasty spirit. God has to heal that. God has to restore that person's heart to be ready for you. And it's not even just a relationship. This could be anything. This could be a job opportunity. This could be, you want kids. This could be anything. Whatever your situation is, God has to prepare it. And if it's not ready, if it's not coming in, that's because it's not ready. So I don't know who need to hear that, but take that word back to God, pray on it, and hope you guys have a great day. And I love you guys.